Oh, we have Jason.
What's going on?
Not much, man. How you doing?
Dude, I'm loving the Christmas hat, the Santa hat. That's
Not bad,
awesome.
eh? I figured the green shirt and the yeah, there you go. Had to warm
I
it
didn't
up.
get festive enough for this call, huh?
Just bring good vibes, Jason. Just bring good vibes.
Okay, I could do that. I could do that.
What up,
Nice to meet
guys?
you.
Oh, hey.
Oh.
We have Katie.
You like my little Christmas sweater? It's got a little gingerbread man on it.
Love it.
So I thought I wore my sparkly shirt because I was like, the Christmas.
I love it.
Oh, that's
Dale,
awesome.
what's up, man?
What up?
What's up, Katie?
Hey, J-Bay. Hey, J-Bay.
I think Devon, I haven't met you, Jeff. I haven't met you, Devon, either. But it's nice to meet you too, also.
Same here. What a way to do it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's really exciting. I'm happy to have all of you here. I mean, Dale, I haven't met you yet formally. Jason, it's great to have you both here. Really excited. I wanted to get, like Katie and I were talking about how we can close out 2020 and really make an impact. And we thought, why don't we get these awesome people that are just lighting up LinkedIn and lighting up the prospecting world with what I consider very unique positions and great ways to close out the year. And then we've also added Devon, who is up and coming in the sales development space. And how long, Devon? It's been 5 months on the job?
Yeah.
Yeah. You never know it. Huge voice, huge presence out there, and just really new on the job, but just taking it with an amazing, I'm just going to say an amazing attitude and just ability to be humble and ask for help, which is really cool. So with that said, today we're not going to talk about sequence reviews today. What we're going to do is talk about the things we've discussed over the year in sequence practice and some of the things that, you know, some of our guest judges have said or coaches have said, some things we've said, some things we've seen. And we're just going to go by 6 topics, including, channels, tools, approaches, openers, body, and action. And we're going to get your opinions on what you think worked and whether, you know, we got it right here at Sequence Practice. So just sit back, enjoy the ride. All we're doing, we're going to show like the tiniest shred of little visuals. And from there, it's just a matter of us having a chat. So yeah, with that said, everybody at home listening in, just want to say hi. And why don't you pop up on the comments and say hello and where you're from.
I just want to say, hey, Dale. We've never been on anything together, but
What up?
I know I've called you.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Like when you've like talked to people on the phone and like texted them and you've never seen them. It's crazy.
Well, thanks for agreeing to join 2 strangers, Dale. It's really nice.
Anytime. And I noticed like the holiday theme. So like, who's the Grinch? Because if not, like I'll be him for the event if that's cool.
Will we get your heart to grow 3 sizes today?
I am a really nice person, so it is hard for me to be the Grinch, but I could try, you know, like the sweetest Grinch that ever existed. You know?
I'm
Grinch
down
at
to
the
see
end
what
of the
this looks
movie, not the
Like-
beginning.
That's a cool Grinch, but the real question here is, do you like the new cartoon Grinch, or do you prefer the Jim Carrey version, or do you like the original? That's the real question.
Oh, that is such a tough one. I don't know. Like, let's look at the kids. The kids seem to like the Jim Carrey one a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm
That's
gonna
the
roll
one
with
I
that.
saw in the
That's
movie
safe
theaters.
answer. Yeah. Okay, we have a lot of people here. So coming in from Cancun, from Colorado Springs, Portland, Westchester, New York. Yeah. Hi, Trevor. Hi, Becca. Hi. Wow, we have a lot of people. This is fantastic. So why don't we get started? I'll just I'll share my screen for a few seconds here and introduce kind of what we're talking about today. So let me know everybody can see my screen. Thumbs up. Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Yep.
So for those who don't know, we brought together the amazing panel that you see in front of you today of, as I said, prospecting superstars from all walks of careers, I guess you could say. Do you want to give a quick introduction? Start with Devon. Just say hi, who you are, and why you're here.
So my name is Devon Banks. I am an SDR at a Toronto startup called LevelJump. It is a sales enablement platform. So I basically spend my day trying to get people to answer my calls and open my emails.
Perfect. Thank you. Welcome to the party. And Jason, how about yourself?
I run a company called Blissful Prospecting, and we help reps and sales teams that, love landing big meetings with potential prospects, but hate it when people don't respond to their cold emails. Or, when they go to make a cold call and they feel really, reluctant or not confident or don't know how to handle objections, that sort of stuff.
Awesome. Well, you fit in here. Katie, intro.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. I'm Katie Ray. I'm the community engagement manager at Sales Hacker, but I've spent like 5 or 6 years in sales, going from IT recruitment to software to network infrastructure and hardware as a field rep. And so I'm now on the marketing side, which gives me right to poo-poo marketing in a lot of our discussions here. So I'm excited to be here and to kind of review this awesome year.
Excellent. Thanks. And Dale, how about you?
What's up, Jeff? Dale Dupree, founder and leader of the Sales Rebellion. We exist to tear down the castles of the status quo of the sales world and build a kingdom that focuses on people over products, community over commission checks, experiences over performing pitches, and fellowship over negotiations.
Ooh, that is a good one. Okay, I get to
suck
follow
it,
all you
Jason.
guys.
Thought yours was so good, didn't you, bro?
Nice. Already starting as the Grinch, Dale.
All right, Dale. All right. I see
Jason
you,
just
dude.
knows I'm
I see
jealous.
you.
He just knows I'm jealous of everything he's got going on. So
that's how this goes. Eh? Okay. Well, and I'm your host, Jeff, the chief playmaker of Rev Up Sales, and we help companies bring a human touch to their prospecting. And I'm not going to go deeper than that because you guys said something way better than I could. So let's just leave it at that. Why we're here, why we do sequence practice is that we want to make better prospectors. We want to make the world better for sales and make it so that sales is not a dirty word. And so all of us here today are here to help you kind of have a better 2021. And so without further ado, let's take a look back at 2020. Seriously, what a weird year. I don't have anything else to say about it except for the fact that literally everything got flipped on the side of its head. All of us are doing Zoom as like our religion now, and prospecting has changed. I mean, we're still doing similar stuff. We're still using email. We're still cold calling. We're still doing a whole bunch of things, but the way that we get attention and the connection rates and all those things, they've changed a lot this year. And what's really awesome, I'm really looking forward to hearing what all of you have to say about why. And so before we move on to actually talking about the topic here, does anybody else have anything they want to say about 2020?
I think AI was another fail this year.
Yep.
I don't know if you've seen the stuff like the subject line graders. I'm not going to call out specifically who the person is or the company, but the sequence, like the automated sequence generator things, the email graders. I think it was a huge fail again with that because they can't account for, they can't account for COVID or how prospects' priorities change or what's important to that individual. So I'm going to poo-poo on all the AI stuff that like automatically creates things with a couple clicks. I would normally use profanity right now. I don't know if we can do that on your show, Jeff, so I will refrain, but that to me, that was a huge fail. And I think that like a lot of that was exposed with in 2020 with COVID.
100%. I have to echo that. Like, it's just amazing that no matter what, and the reason why I talk about a human approach to prospecting is because, man, the robots took over and they did not do a good job this year.
I think you're both wrong.
Oh,
Let's go, Katie. Come on.
Let's go.
There's
hear
a
it, yeah.
fabulous email grader at saleshacker.com with Outreach and Reggie coming together, and it is wonderful. However, I think no matter how far we get in our lives, nothing can replace a handwritten card or a personal phone call. So I don't know if we would say poo-poo on AI this year. There are some exceptions, but I do think that nothing can replace that personal connection. So pick up your phones.
I think actually it's like a marriage of what you guys have both said, especially somebody like me who's just been here a few months. Like you're getting overwhelmed with information, but really I think what works is like you have to have a personal piece, but there's no way you can be a successful SDR without at least automating some of it. Because we still
Fabulous point.
Yeah, we still have to meet certain metrics, but how we get there, we can't just be like, spray and pray.
Right.
We do personal touch, but we need the AI to help us get there.
Yeah.
I'm not against automation, by the way. I'm not against automation. I'm not against like activities happening without like automatically. I'm not against like automatic follow-ups going out in some cases. I just think put your persona in and generate a subject line for me, or generate an entire email for me. That's the stuff that I think is like a total miss.
Agreed. I don't even open those emails. You can see them a mile away. So
You can smell them in your inbox.
I think also like that, like to this point, I think that what it is though too is that like we've spoiled ourselves as salespeople in some cases.
Yeah.
That we don't know what it's like to like do the hard work, and like we don't know what it's like to have true human interaction anymore. We just send emails and get people to agree to demos, and then the first time we meet them is on the demo. Like, oh hey, I'm Dale by the way, and I like dogs. It's strange. So and because of it, it's very disconnected from that perspective. But I think AI is awesome. It just sucks right now. Like to Jason's point, I think it's awesome. It just sucks right now, and it'll get better, and it'll get to a point where it's creepy, and maybe it'll even take over the world, and Sarah Connor will have to save us. But until that happens, I think what's important for sales reps to remember is that it's a tool for them to be better at their job, but not to be better at being a human. And so there's a huge disconnect there in most people that most people check it at 8 o'clock, leave at 5, and then become the person that they are afterwards, right? Well, bring that person to work with you, and you'll have more success.
Good point. Very good points. Yeah. Well, thank you to everybody, because this is a great way to talk about what we're going into next. And so, like I said, we're going to go through these 6 topics, and we're going to start by talking about actually what channels work. So I'm going to share my screen for like 2 seconds, and then we're going to turn it off to see our beautiful faces. So first and foremost, the question that I posed to the panel is what channels worked better and what channels worked worse in 2020?
Okay, I'll go first again if no one's gonna.
This is the brave one.
I think that like what 2020 showed us is that the importance of doubling down on multi-channel. So I think this is so contextual to who you reach out to and what you sell and all that other stuff. But I think phone is the most utilized channel. But I think it just showed us the importance of like you got to do everything. Like it's getting harder and harder and harder to just do cold email or just to do your calls or just to do your direct mail. You gotta give them the multi-channel experience.
Yeah, like
I think.
I try to
please.
I try to leverage the triple threat as much as I can because I
Yeah.
like the idea of catching people.
I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, and I love the idea of like someone looking at their phone and being like, who is this Devon Banks person? And why are they on my LinkedIn, in my email, and I have a missed call from them? And I've actually been called out twice or 3 times on LinkedIn by people that I prospected into using the triple threat in a positive way. So I definitely think that works. And I do also like the idea of using a multi-channel because I think, however, I don't like pitching people on LinkedIn. I like going to their LinkedIn, learning about them as a person, what they like, what they care about, who they are, and even getting to know them on a LinkedIn level and then sending them an email, more of a sales email. Because I do like, to Dale's point, they're a person and I want to get to know who my people are.
Good points. Good points. We have just, I'm going to interject really quickly. So from the chat, we have somebody that's saying our traditional channels are in person. Well, I guess we know that didn't work very well this year, did we? Dale?
Unless you live in Florida. If you live in Florida, it's all good. You can do anything you want in the state of Florida. Right? So.
Is that the state tagline, Dale? Like you do what we want in Florida.
We just do what we want in Florida. Like there's no protests here because like there are no rules.
Right.
That will be the next AI, is you drop someone's name into the AI tech, or you open up their LinkedIn, and then it's going to pull from the internet and it's going to tell you what they care about. If that's not already here or already kind of coming, that's what's going to come next, because someone's going to say, look at it, people are putting their whole lives online. Let's throw it through an algorithm and see what do they care about.
Yeah.
And, you know, like as an SDR, I still have to call and email X number of people every day. And as much as I want to research and get to know all of my prospects, I don't always have the time to do it for everyone. So if there is a way that you can find it out pretty quickly and then at least have a jumping off point, that would be helpful for people who would do my job.
Yeah, well, you already can. I mean, that's the power of intent data, right? That's one of those other fun little LinkedIn buzzwords that people talk about, but don't ever tell you what it is or how to use it. Ask your boss. If your boss doesn't know, send them to saleshacker.com because we've got lots of information. Shameless plug. But leveraging intent data, figuring out what people are trying to buy, when they're trying to buy it, what's important to them, what are they searching for, understanding why are they coming to your website, when they're coming to your website, what landing pages they're going to. Like that is a whole wealth of information, and it makes your calls a lot easier whenever you could point to exactly what they're like. You can look and see what page they went to on your website. And then you can say, hey, I'm calling you about Wi-Fi 6. And then it's like, oh, so weird. I need Wi-Fi 6. How did you know this? Oh, what a coinkydink. And like, there you go. You've got a deal. Super easy. But yeah, ask your managers about leveraging intent data, because that's money right there. It's a little bit of work, but it's money.
I think if the intent data is good, I'm curious what the rest of you find. I've heard that most of the intent data is not great though, because it only tells you if the company is searching for something. So you don't really get very much like data on what people are doing. I think if you knew, like if you were using HubSpot or Pardot and you could see like, okay, Katie signed up and downloaded our ebook and she looked at all these pages. I think that kind of stuff works well, but like and I know it's Katie, it sounds like I'm totally shitting on like all the stuff that you guys are doing. I'm such a huge fan of Sales Hacker and like all that other stuff you guys are doing, by the way. But like with the intent,
no more webinars for Jason.
yeah, so I'm blowing it here. But like with the intent data, like the Bombora stuff, and again, this is not talking bad on Bombora because they have great stuff. I'm like, how do you use that data though? You know, a company that's got 10,000 people is like searching some key, where do you go from there? And does it actually help get the meeting? Right. You know?
Yeah, I think just like anything else, you don't look at it just looking at one thing, right? You don't say, oh, they have 10,000 seats, so this is gonna be a big deal, so I'm gonna sell them, right? Like you don't look at one piece of data in like this little microscope, right? You look at the really big picture. So you see based off of looking whether you're using Zoom Info and looking for like news of what's happening. So everyone's gone to one-to-one tech. And then you look at, you know, who your ICP is at that company that would make decisions based off of it. You know, can they buy this? Can they make, can they afford this? What does that look like? Then you throw in the intent data, you sprinkle it on, a little Salt Bay, sprinkle that sucker on there. And it says, oh, well, they're looking for Wi-Fi 6. In my head, I say, interesting. The school just got money to buy one-to-one tech. They just got a new IT director 2 months prior to that. They are now looking for Wi-Fi 6, and they're talking about like all these initiatives that they're doing for the school year. When I put all that together, it would make sense. Like I could figure out who I need to talk to surrounding that. But your points are very valid, Jason. I validate you.
I validate you too, Jason. I had a really funny post like 2 weeks ago on LinkedIn where I put a picture of somebody from Disney going to my profile, which by the way, I'm pretty sure that Disney just has people looking at everybody's profiles on LinkedIn so that they can just drive traffic back to Disney. But I kept noticing it showing up at these weird times, and I was joking in my post about intent data, essentially, where I was like, hey, I see you stopping in, but you should say hi sometime. And Chris Walker hit a comment like right at the top. He's like, that's intent data. He's like, start sending random gifts to every single senior executive at Disney. See if they'll take an appointment. I laughed so hard because that's what intent data is to some people, which is, again, it's like, to me, it's weird because like intent to me is that someone says, I'm interested in your product or service. So
Right.
like we have a free download that people, they don't get it unless they're going to use it, or they want to use it, or they want to be better at prospecting. And so like when people fill that form out, we call them, but we don't call them and say, hey, let's set up an appointment. We call them and say, hey, have you used it yet?
Yeah.
Right. So I think also with intent data, you have to then remember, again, like instant gratification society, y'all, we got to get away from it. We have to understand that people make emotional decisions. And if they're irrational, they're quick. And that doesn't lead to a good, relationship with somebody. So nurturing them into the close is the most important piece, unless it's a commodity product that you can sell for $19.99, much different, right? But I sell sales training for $10,000, so we're not trying to get people to just rush through paying us,
Right.
because we want them to be very happy. So think about the happiness of the people that we're trying to grab intent from in the first place. What will make them fulfilled in these moments?
Well, it's all about the buyer.
All about the buyer. No, fantastic points, everyone. We have one more section to go through. We have just a few minutes to go, but this is something that I get asked all the time, is about the ask. So in a prospecting email or LinkedIn message or a cold call, what are you trying to get from the person, or what are you trying to give? So what is the actual ask? So I'm curious to learn from each of you to kind of close this off. What are you trying to do when you're making that outreach to a prospect? So I'm going to ask Katie to start. What are you trying to get?
So my entry SDR training would say to get a meeting. That's my job. That is not right.
Yeah.
I think now, like looking back, I think my ask, it is to like get into discovery call, but it's more of like trying to understand if what we have would be valuable to them. And if not, like disqualifying them early. So I guess that's like the value of, you're either going to have, be committed to another conversation to dig deeper into like what you're really looking for, and in like timeframes, and understanding like value of like what the product can do to solve your problem. But then also that value of like, hey, if it's not a good fit, that's okay too. Like, I'm not going to try and sell you, which makes so many sales managers cringe. But I think there's like a lot of value in a lot of kind of like rapport building, and like focusing on more of a consultant of, I just want to see, like you've said, that 1, 2, and 3 are problems for you. Let's get deeper, see if we can solve this. I think we may be able to, but if we can't, like, let me see, like, let's stay in touch. How can I help you in the long term type of thing? So that's, for me, that's what I think is super important. But I'm a big relationship person. So
how about you, Jason? Thank you.
I like this, what I've been preaching a lot through, especially through COVID, is teach, don't take. So I think what a lot of companies haven't thought about is like, what insight can they bring to the prospect? Because that's your value as a sales professional, is being a consultant for them, because you have this perspective of working with dozens or hundreds of people like them. So you actually have more insight into what people like them do than they probably do. So like, to give you an example, I have a client. What they will do is, they help these business to consumer brands, and essentially, they don't like to say this, but it's like a way for them to outsource customer support so that they don't have to staff up and down. So they mystery shop like 800 companies, all of the big B2C brands you could think of, the Yetis, all that other stuff. And that's their thing. Hey, we've actually mystery shopped you and 3 or 4 of your competitors, and we'd love to share how you stacked up how your response times stack up, how we graded your guys' ability to quickly answer questions without losing customers through tab hopping and looking at your competitors' sites, et cetera. So it's like that's something that a customer support like executive would like really want to know. And you're actually giving something to them that they aren't able to really do themselves without like having to hire a firm. So I think you need to have some sort of thing that you can share with them, that you can teach them. And that kind of like upends a lot of companies' sales processes, by the way, because the first thing they want to do is a demo with the prospect. So it has to be built into the fabric of like just how you sell. Like the very first thing that should happen on a demo is you figuring out like what's top of mind and where their priorities are, and then sharing insights that will help them with those things, and then talking about how your tool or your service or whatever complements that. I think that's like a really big transition that companies need to really think about and bring to the table in 2021.
Cool. Thanks, Jason. And what about you, Devon?
For me, a lot of my emails, like as an SDR, is to get to the AE who's going to dig deeper. So a lot of what I do is I don't ever really ask anyone for time. I just say, like, if you're curious, let's talk. That's one of the generally ones that I use, because again, like my goal is to pique their interest to see if we have, like, if we're that puzzle piece that they're looking for. So again, it's just like getting them curious. I don't ever ask for time. It's always just a let's talk. If you're curious, let's talk. How's your calendar look? If you're interested, please reach out. But I rarely ever ask for time in their calendar or for their time. They don't have time. Like they have how many, Dale? 122 spam emails, like, in their mailbox every week, plus how many calls. So I want to make it, I want to be there if they need me, when they need me, but I'm there for them, not the other way around. Their time is not mine.
Perfect. Thank you. And what about you, Dale? What are you trying to ask for when you're in your outreach?
Yeah, over the years, I found that the best thing to provide during outreach is an experience for somebody, and it's a give. It's something that they're not used to having happen to them in the first place. And my objective always is to try and find whether or not it's appropriate that I can either serve them at this time or a later time, or if we can network. And I think that a lot of times salespeople just get away from the networking concept altogether, which is kind of crazy to me, because some of the best sales I ever made were from making a very good relationship with an office administrator that buys copy machines that would never buy from me because she bought from this guy for 25 years. At least that's what she told me at the time. And taking her to lunch instead and learning about people that she can introduce me to, and vice versa. And eventually, like, helping that same person that comes to mind, even in this particular story, get a job. And at the job that she got, she ends up buying copiers from me over there. So there's this bigger picture to this whole puzzle that we just don't see because we're so short-sighted. So experience-driven giving is the way to really make it work for your prospects. Like someone's ghosting you, send them an empty box of pizza and have printed on the inside of it, sorry, I ate all this waiting for you to get back to me. And give them something that's fun and engaging and energetic, and it'll change the way that they look at you. It'll change the way they look at themselves. And most of all, the one thing that we all forget as sales professionals is that we're sales professionals. We're the experts in sales. And so when someone has something like that happen to them, or a really good email from Devon, or a really sick cold call from Jason, or a really cool article on Sales Hacker from Katie, when they get these things, what happens is that they start to look at us as the professional, not just the person that's going to sell them something, but this person that's like, all right, I dig this. Like, my salespeople suck. I could really use you outside of your product even, so as a copier rep, I can't tell you how many times I sat with a sales team and showed them all my tools and said, like, this is the mindset and this is what you're trying to do, and watched people even make their own crumpled letters back in like 2012, after I had used it on them. So I think really it's about community building. This is about creating a kingdom that you can thrive inside of, and so can the people that you serve. And so if we change our mindset, we change the game and we change the goals. And that's the way that we can give inside of our outreach, which yields such a better result each and every time.
Yeah, all good points, all of you. And I really like this. And this is the best way to end, because I'm asking for all of you about what your ask is. And then we end up in a situation where it's not about us. It's not about what we're asking. It's what we're giving. and how are we helping our prospects actually solve a problem that they either know they have and don't think they can do anything about, or don't know they have, or haven't thought about it in that way. So I really like what you're saying there, Dale, about the community, and let's build our own community of people, that our own herd, or whatever you want to call it, of people where we can help, we can build value to their organizations. And we have to just be creative in our outbound in order to get that point across to new prospects. So just to close up, I know we're a few minutes over, but I just want to thank all of you for coming today. It's been a true pleasure learning from all of you, and having some laughs on our last holiday, our holiday edition of Sequence Practice for 2020. So thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays.
Bye-bye.